What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Primetime podcast. On this episode, I'm going to be covering my top 5 favorite video games of all time, but joining me will be my friend Dion. You guys might remember him from the PS1 N64 episode and the Xbox consoles episode, but he will be joining me here in just a few. But I just want to tell you guys about the sponsor of Primetime 21st Gaming, Catalyst Mints. Check them out through the link in the description below, Catalyst Mints.
What's good, everybody? It's your homeboy T-Pain. Let's take a look at some cool stuff. Here we go. Boom! Catalyst Mints. You know what these are? Energy mints. Amazing. You didn't think I was going to say that, but they are. I'll tell you a little something about this. Vitamin B, packed with it. Caffeine, packed with it. You know what it's not packed with? Sugar. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. You don't want calories. There's no calories in this. It's amazing. It's for your long gaming sessions after that weird date at Taco Bell. You don't want that. You want to be energized. Pop a mint, breath is good, and your energy is up. You know what's even cooler? You can either buy it like this, 1 pack, or you can buy the whole case. You can play Pulp Fiction with it. You can do a lot of stuff with this. So if you feel like getting arrested in the airport, then buy the whole case. It's a briefcase full of pills. Take your choice. Put it in there like that, boom. Now you're on your way. Catalyst Mints is the energy mint. I'm gonna need you to come and take 6 of these. Pour them in your mouth, just open up the
Alright guys, let's get started with this episode of the Primetime Podcast. He is with me again for the 3rd time since I've revamped the show. His name is Dion, and he did a couple episodes with me further back. We did the PlayStation 1 versus the Nintendo 64, and then we also did an Xbox consoles one. And but he's back with me today. We're going to do the our top 5 favorite video games of all time. So Dion, how are you, man?
Good, man. It's been a while since you had me on here.
Yeah, dude, it has been a while, and I'm glad to have you on. I'll tell you right now, man. I revamped the podcast. I've moved them all over to Google Podcasts now, and even over on YouTube. YouTube still to this day my number one watched or listened to, I guess, podcast is the PlayStation 1 Nintendo 64. So everybody really enjoyed that one. Yeah, so we're gonna get it going. Yeah, we're gonna get it going, man. Here's what. Before we get started, I actually listened back to that podcast this week, and every time someone's on for the first time, I always ask them what's their favorite video game. Now, I'm not gonna have you. I don't want you to answer this, but in that podcast, you told me Rocket League at that time was your number 1 game. Okay?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
You told me Rocket League was your number 1 game. So we're going to see how things have changed, or maybe they haven't by the end of this when you give us your top 5. So, also, you did say that your favorite gaming genre is sports games, and I know that hasn't changed. So,
No, that has not changed at all.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get like a best of both worlds in a way, because you told me, actually, I'd say maybe a week or so ago, that we're gonna have very different lists because there was a lot of games that you didn't grow up playing that I did, and you were more the sports guy.
Yep.
So it'll be good.
Most of the stuff that I grew up with was sports. I mean, there was a game here and there that was not sports, and I actually have a couple in my top 5 that aren't sports related. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to those. I know one of them. Heck, you probably know my entire list, but anyway, I mean, my thing is, we just decided that we're gonna have a chill show. Just do our top 5. We're just going to alternate between each other. Talk a little bit about a game, maybe why we like it, maybe a memory we have with it, and just go on from there. So, but I'm going to start off with my number 5.
Okay.
And my number 5 I am a huge horror fan, and it dates further back than video games. I loved horror movies as a kid, as weird as that is. I wasn't the kid that needed to be tucked in at night and had to have the closet checked and underneath the bed checked. And I wasn't that kid. I just I loved horror movies. I could literally watch a horror movie and go right to bed. And I read something actually on Twitter the other day. It's like, if you can watch a disturbing horror movie and go right to bed, you're probably a psycho.
I don't want to hear that, man.
I am not a psycho. But anyway, my number 5 is a horror game, and it's Dino Crisis for PlayStation 1. Now,
Okay.
this game, I grew up with this game. I don't remember how I got it. I don't remember going to the store and getting it. But I had this game, and it was created by the creators of Resident Evil, over at Capcom, and it's basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs. Like, you completely sub out the zombies, put in dinosaurs. And I remember when I first played the game, I was like, how scary can this be? Like, it's dinosaurs, you know.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's basically Jurassic Park. And when you actually get into the game, and it doesn't take long, you're out like on this island, you're investigating. I won't ruin it in case some of you all haven't played the game and would like to pick it up somewhere and try it, because you can get it for the PlayStation 1, obviously. You can get it for the Dreamcast. I think the PlayStation Store has it if you have like a PS3. They never ported those or put over those PS1 games to the PS4. They should have, but they never did. But anyway, yeah.
Isn't there rumor that there's going to be a remake? Isn't there rumor out for
There
it?
is rumor, and I honestly thought that we were gonna hear about it at E3 this year, because everyone hyped it up. Either that or another Resident Evil or something. Something was coming from Capcom, and we got nothing. Absolutely nothing. But
I didn't know that.
But yeah, the game though is scary. It is super terrifying. You're out on an island. You're investigating this like facility. Well, when you get there, there's lots of blood where something had been drug across the concrete outside. There's ripped open. The fence is ripped open. You can hear the sounds of the ocean. It's just quiet. And it's very eerie. The atmosphere is, and there's plenty of jump scares, but it is a very good survival horror game, and it gets into my top 5 at number 5. So definitely recommend that. So let's hear it, man. What do you got? Number 5.
Well, my number 5 goes back to the original Xbox. I like I said, I think it was probably one of the first games that I've ever played multiplayer, and I actually think that it was probably one of the first ones that were multiplayer, that were out at that time, because I knew that multiplayer was a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Halo 2.
Okay.
I love the multiplayer, and I think the one reason why it was on there is on my top 5 is because of the multiplayer. It was so good. The sniping was so much fun on that game. I love playing the sniping, and then also the swords. Everybody loves swords.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo 2. I would say well, I wouldn't say it is in my top 5 at number 5. I just love the game. I like the Halo series up to the third one. I think anything after the third one, I'm not too much of a fan of. But yeah,
Well,
Halo 2.
If I remember right, I think that game's a 2004 game, the second Halo,
Mm-hmm.
and I have played the first and third one.
Okay.
But believe it or not, I own the second, but I have never played the second.
You have the second, but you've never played it.
I have the second, but I have never played it. I recently had seen online like people trashing the first game, and like comments like that I have seen are people saying Halo is just a first-person shooter in a hallway. That's what they say.
Huh.
And and I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then how'd this game become as big as it is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
how
I
did this
can't see any.
franchise? Right. I mean, dude, think about it. Okay, yeah, you have all your Nintendo franchises, your Mario's, your Metroids, your Zeldas, your Pokemon. You've got, your Nintendo is known for their characters, and then over with Microsoft, you've got Master Chief,
Yeah,
and I just
exactly, and
feel
that's one of
like
your biggest ones.
yes, it is one of the top ones. If you show someone the helmet, they know who that is. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? If they
Hmm.
don't know that his name's Master Chief, someone says, "Oh, that's Halo."
Yeah,
They
exactly.
know. They know
It's that
that.
iconic.
Yes, exactly. So I am surprised though to see you go in it too. I remember back on our Xbox uh, console podcast that we had said, or you had said that you grew up, really loving the Halo series, and
Yep.
so yeah, enters in at your number five, and it is a 2004 game. I did just check, and
Oh, okay.
I've been meaning to get the Master Chief Collection, and we should, if I get it, man, we should definitely play sometime.
Oh yeah, because I have it, and I wish that Halo 2 you could still go back on the original Xbox and play it online. It'd be so
Yeah.
nice if you could. And like I
Well,
know it is on the Master Chief Collection, and you can play online with it, but it's not the same, you know.
yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing: you got to make it as early 2000s as possible. Okay.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
what you want to do is you need to go get you one of those Xbox Duke controllers for the Xbox One. All right,
I do
and
need
we
to. I do need to.
and we can hook those bad boys up, and it's 2004 all over again. But
Oh no.
but no. So that's your number five. Definitely catching me off there. I did not expect that. But we're gonna move on. We're heading to our number fours. So my number four, if you know me, is a little bit pretty. I don't know. You could place a bet on it that it was definitely in my top five. Probably some might think that it may have been in my top three, but my number four is Resident Evil 1, the remake. Now, this game initially released for the Nintendo GameCube back in 2002, and since then we've gotten an HD remaster of it, which is absolutely gorgeous. But it's very similar to the original 1996 game, just polished. And honestly, I could have put the original 1996 game here, but why not put the remake in? It looks absolutely gorgeous. But same game, like I said, it's just polished. And as I mentioned earlier, I always loved horror movies growing up. And when I first played Resident Evil, it was the fact that I could control the actions of a horror story instead of just watching them. That was amazing to me. Like, that's why I love survival horror games, because you basically have to build up the courage and the
Mhm.
strength to, like, I always use this. I say, in a horror movie, if you hear a sound in the basement, no matter what, they're going down in the basement. You can cover your eyes up, though. You don't have to watch it. But if you're playing a horror video game and you hear a noise in the basement, you can stand outside the door and be terrified. Or if you want, the only way to advance the game is you have to control that character and go down and see what it is. But, I mean, I don't know. That's really what has always brought me to survival horror games. I've always liked, these games and everything, and the game looks great. The music sets the mood with the occasional booming of thunder outside the mansion. I also like that when you're inside the mansion, even though it's huge, you still feel very claustrophobic. You can actually get this game on any of the platforms today. Like, it's on Xbox One, you can get it on PS4, it's even on Nintendo Switch. And I definitely recommend, for somebody who maybe does not know the original roots of the Resident Evil franchise, to definitely check out this game. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. But with that being said, what do you got at your number four?
My number four. This game, the initial release was July 9th, 2013. You got any guesses?
I'm God, I want to say that it's I want to say it's Rocket League.
No, it is
But
not
Rocket League's
Rocket
been
League.
out since what, 15?
I think something like that. I'm not sure. It's been
God,
it's been around for a while.
2000.
Um,
13.
You are
Okay,
right.
okay, hold
Roughly
on, hold
came
on,
out in
hold on.
15.
Okay, hold on. I think I know now.
You think you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a sports game.
It is. It's definitely a sports game.
All right, the sports
It
games are
is.
making the top 5. I'm gonna say
Here
it's
it is.
Okay, go ahead.
NCAA
Yep.
football 2014.
Good
And the
game.
only reason
Good
why
game.
it's a phenomenal game. The reason why I fell in love with it, and what sucks is I could also talk about NCAA basketball 2010 because it was the last one made.
Hmm.
The reason why I love these games, especially NCAA football 14, we did it all the time, and my favorite thing about it is being able to do the dynasty online with friends, but then
Yeah.
also you can make the the make it where we had to start with a one-star school team as an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, and then you get job offers. That's my favorite thing. If there's a sports game that has that in it, I'm all for it, and I love it. I
Well, and
love the
it's not just
yeah,
your regular playthrough this many games. See if you make
no.
the championship. See if you win the Super Bowl. I don't know where you ever got the idea to start as a 1-star team and build up from there as an offensive
Uh-huh.
coordinator or whatever. But that stuff is genius. Like
It is.
it's so fun, dude. You introduced
Mhm.
that to me a long time ago, and man, it's just a blast, dude. You're sitting there, you're like, and then it makes it even better. Like, okay, you're like, okay, I've done good this year. I've won 9 games. Um, let's see who's gonna offer me a job, and it can be disappointing. You might not get
Oh yeah.
a good offer, but just the fact that you know
Well, wasn't it
anybody could
wasn't it
offer you.
you? Wasn't it you the last one that we played in? Who were you with? Was it like Texas Tech or something or Oklahoma
Well, I
State or
was
something where
I was
you were
with
the offensive coordinator?
yes, yeah, I was at A&M,
Yes,
and
A&M. I'm sorry, I knew it was Texas team.
I was there for 2 years, and we won back-to-back championships,
Mm-hmm.
BCS championship, and the I
Head
don't know,
coach
like
left.
the head coach, he ended up leaving, and I'm like, oh, I'm in. They're gonna offer me the head coach position. They're gonna offer me that head coach position, and I'm gonna take it. I like it here. I got great players here, and they hired somebody else over me. They wanted to just leave me at offensive coordinator, so I booted. I left them. I went right to Louisville, man.
Exactly.
Head coach,
Yep. Head coach of Louisville.
head coach of Louisville. But yeah, man, it's
But they're so much
unfortunate.
fun.
Yeah, it's unfortunate this was the last one that we have gotten. 14. However, there are people who still to this day upload those rosters, and I don't know how they do it and do it so quickly,
Me
unless
either.
it's the only thing that they do. Because I've tried
Hmm.
it with 32 NFL teams, and it is straight up brutal. It is just brutal. The same thing over and over and over. And but I mean that's the closest thing we're going to get, unfortunately. But man, one
Yeah.
day I can feel that these games will make a return.
And I hope they do. I mean, they're missing out on a lot of money with it, and they could dish out, especially now with everything. Like they could they could dish out the money to pay, the likeness, set a certain like standard rate of paying these people, and just pay them because you know that people are going to dish out the money. And like also, I know that I think both you and I agree on ultimate team stuff. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's old.
uh, you know
I'm done with it.
it is. But just imagine if they did that in NCAA football. Like you can bring back like your Deion Sanders or Peyton Manning for Tennessee and an ultimate team and all that kind of stuff like as your
Oh,
icons. And
oh,
like, could
dude.
you imagine how much money people are going to throw out at them?
Oh man. Just the fact that, yeah, like you said, let's say I don't know, Deion Sanders, for example. Being able to use him at Florida State, or Tom Brady at Michigan, or just these guys who went to the NFL, became superstars, and being able to play them. I love that kind of stuff, especially and I said this before. I don't know if I said it on a podcast or on a live stream, but NBA 2K, I love the old teams, man. I love it. They
Oh
try
yeah,
their
it's so much
best to
fun.
make it look, yeah, dude, and there's so much to do. Um, you can create a court. You can make your own basketball court and stuff like that. And I think, unfortunately, with the timing of NCAA, having to shut down their games and stuff. What else could we have seen? Can you imagine, dude, the playoffs, the college football playoffs in the game?
Oh man, it'd be awesome.
That
I
would
think
be
it would be.
awesome. It would be awesome, and it is a good game. I don't believe it's the end of it, though. I don't believe it.
I hope not. I hope not.
So,
So,
all right, man. Those are number fours. Number fours are down. We're down to the
yep.
top three. Okay, now let me just say this is harder than I thought it would be.
Oh, same here. It took me a
When I
while.
first when I first came to you with the idea of this, I was like, "Oh, that's just a pretty simple. Let's talk for a while and make a podcast and make it pretty simple. No specific topic. And then I started writing down my top 5 games, and then when I got to my three, I was like, "Oh God," I was like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Should I put this one above? You know, we'll get to it. But my number 3 is The Legend of Zelda for NES, originally released in 1986. This game it's iconic, and it still to this day, game developers look back at this game and they try to capture the magic that it had. It was a revolutionary game. It really was,
Oh
and
yeah.
finding little things throughout the game, like the flute or the letter. You had no direction. You just had to figure it out for yourself. It was an adventure where you you took the flute or the letter and you had to figure out where it went, how to use it, and what did it just open. And you had to basically do it on your own. Strategy guides weren't really a thing.
Hmm.
It did come with a map, but the map didn't tell you where to go. You
No,
basically
it just gave
followed
you a
it
map.
yourself. And you know, nothing had been done like this before. Like the Atari 2600, you basically had to make up your own stories and adventures. Because all you had was a couple things on the screen, and this game, it starts you out in Hyrule. You have a cave. The first thing you do, go down the cave, grab the sword, and good luck. Go off and do whatever you got to do, and however you got to do it. And I played the heck out of this game when I was a kid. I was never very good at it. It's a challenging game for NES, especially in the beginning, because they only start you out with 3 hearts, and this game can gut you. It really can, if you're not familiar with it. But overall, a classic and one of my top franchises, my top favorite franchise, and it's still running stronger than ever today. And I just love it, man. I'm like I said, this came out in '86, a few
Hmm.
years before I was born. I think. God, I'm gonna try to do quick math. 6 years, I think. Yes. Um, or so, 6 or 7. But anyway, I'm not good at math. Um, it was. I just looking at the box. It's a gold box, and you have like a little square cut out where you could see the cartridge through the box on the shield, and you could see that it's a gold cartridge. And like, I can't imagine being a kid right when this game released and the NES was red hot, and seeing that gold cartridge, like, and just thinking, man, I gotta have that game. Like, that game's got to be special. And I wonder if Nintendo thought that it really would be as special as it is today. So, but yes, that is my number 3, The Legend of Zelda. And what do you got at 3, man?
So number 3, we're going all the way back 19 years ago in
Ooh, okay.
2000. Okay.
Oh, that's disgusting when you say it like that.
Oh, I know, 19 years ago, man, that's terrible. Like, I can't believe that. Like,
I
it
know.
makes me feel old, even though we're really not that old. So 19 years ago, uh, the it was a sequel to two really good games, but it is Pokemon Crystal. It came right after Pokemon Gold and Silver. It combined them both kind of. Um, one of the storyline is just fantastic. I put a lot of hours into it. And I actually had a hard time because I almost put Pokemon Yellow in my top five
Yeah.
almost. Because everybody loves Pikachu. But there was just something about Crystal. I loved it. I've actually played through Crystal. I couldn't tell you how many times. It's in at least the double digits that I've played through Crystal. And that was back when I had it. I actually lost it. I had my cousin's stepbrother actually stole all of my Game Boy Color and Game Boy regular Game Boy games. He stole them and sold them.
What a punk.
And so, yeah, I had at that point in time, I had all of them. I had blue, red, yellow, gold, silver, crystal. I had them all at that point in time. But yeah, he stole them, sold them. So I actually, I'm at,
if he had a Twitter, we would send a troll army to attack him.
oh
But
yes, we would. And I
but
don't know
good.
if he does or not, But I'm actually having a hard time finding it right now. Like I don't want to pay an arm and a leg. I don't want to pay like $50 for it. So
Hmm.
I'm looking for it, but I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to pay an arm and a leg. I've actually started collecting everything Pokemon again. So like I do have those first ones I said. Yellow, red, blue, gold, silver. I actually have the Japanese version red in box. And then I have like Sapphire and Leaf Green, and then I have a whole bunch of the DS games. So like I'm building up the collection. I plan on collecting them all, kind of like catching them all.
Yeah.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. But no,
Uh-oh.
but yeah, my number three is Pokemon Crystal.
Nice. Yeah, and like you said, you have been looking for it, and maybe one day when you do decide to pick it up or get it for a good price, um, I will give an update on whatever podcast I'm doing. I'll say, guess what, guys?
Yes, he
He
got
got
it.
it. So, but yeah, you said that you thought about putting yellow in there. I know this is a top five, but would you say your yellow would be in the top 10 for sure?
Oh yeah, for sure, top 10. It definitely for sure is in top 10.
Yeah. See, I had to think of that too. There was, um, I'm gonna do a spoiler right here. The Resident Evil 2 remake is not in my top five, but it's definitely in my top 10. The most recent game that came
Oh,
out this year.
hmm
Um, it's in my top 10, but it didn't crack my top five.
yeah.
But anyway, this is a top five list, and now we are down to two. All right, so my number two is Tomb Raider for PlayStation 1, released in 1996. Now, I've always had a fascination with Tomb Raider, and no, it's not because of her big breast.
Oh,
Um,
those pointy things.
I I don't, and I try like to not let nostalgia take over my top five. Like I actually want to go by what I thought was a good game, not what I remember to be a good game.
Mhm.
And so what I have played this game recently, completely through on my channel. I'd say maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, and playing it through again, just made me remember like how great I thought this game was, and that I think it is. I mean, it
Mhm.
basically took everything that I loved with The Legend of Zelda and brought it into a 3D world. Um,
Yeah.
you and I have had this talk before that back in that original PlayStation 1 era, we looked at these games and thought, man, they're never going to get any better than this. You know, and even the PS2 you go back to the PS2 games, we're like, man, how are they ever going to top this? And of course they have. The new Tomb Raider games are beautiful. So I lost an entire summer to this game. Like when I was a kid, I remember sitting in my little bedroom at my parents' house because my sister had to have the big bedroom. She would later give me the bigger bedroom, but
Yeah, I
anyway,
was gonna say, didn't she give you the
yeah,
bigger one later?
yeah. Later she would, but when I was really little, I can remember playing this. Oh my god, for so many hours. And I mean, it's basically an adventure game, but let me tell you, it's got some survival horror to it. There are jump scares out the wazoo here, man. I'm talking, this isn't Resident Evil where it's only zombies and dogs that are jumping out. We've got bears, wolves, lions, gorillas, winged demons
Oh
um,
my god.
coming after you, and these are like literally running around a corner and trying to give you a heart attack stuff. And but I did. I grew up with this game. My uncle introduced this game to me. Laura Croft was a tough lady, and I never grew up watching Indiana Jones, but I did grow up enjoying the female version of Indiana Jones.
There it
Um,
is.
the third level is called the Lost Valley, and it still amazes me to this day as it did when I was a kid. Um, but yeah, the original Tomb Raider, if you're able to understand that those graphics were in at the time 1996 and realize that it is 1996, that for that time they looked incredible. um I definitely recommend playing this game. It's not easy by any means. The jumping and it can, one wrong step, a long fall to Laura Croft's death. So but it is such a great game, and it is my number two. And I do love the original Tomb Raider. So, all right, man, what do you got? Number two.
Well, here I'm just gonna see. This is where we are like how I was telling you how we're like completely different. Is like you. I've actually never played any of the Tomb Raider games, not even the
Oh
first
my
one.
God. Oh
I'm
dear
probably going to
Lord.
get so many haters off of whoever listens to this or off of your channel. I've never played it, and I've never played the original Zelda. Really,
Oof.
the only Zelda I think I've played is Majora's Mask.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I think
See, I
that
didn't
is
even
the
know
only.
that.
I only played it for a short period of time. I got so far, and then just I actually borrowed it from my cousin, and
Hmm.
then he wanted it back. So I only got to play a little bit of it. So, um, but yeah, I've actually not been able. I've not played either one of them really. And like I've talked to you about trying to get Breath of the Wild, and I think I might pick
Yeah.
it up at some point. So number two, we've actually already talked about it. Um, it's just a fun arcade game. It's Rocket League. Um, I mean, you know how big of a fan I was of it, and I actually got upset with you and PP that one day because I wanted to play in that tournament. And you guys kind of, well, you didn't, but he did. He
Yeah.
kind of left me high and dry. He left
Well,
us
we had to
high and
have three
dry,
people,
and
didn't we?
yeah, we had to have three people or it was a forfeit. And I was really mad at him for that because I really wanted to play because it's so much fun. Like who thought that using little RC cars and playing soccer would be so much fun? And it's such a big game. It's still a big game today. Like I know a lot of people play it, and like you said, it came out in 2015, which I
Yeah.
can't believe it was that long ago that it
I
came out.
know.
Like it doesn't feel like that old of a game, but I love it. I actually haven't played it in a while. I might have to jump back in and play some more. And it's just fun. Like you pick it up, and it's one of those games. And like, yeah, there's a couple times that, like, especially whenever we were trying to do that tournament. But Rocket League's one of those games that I can jump in. You play right away. You can play right away, no wait time, and then like I don't care if I win or lose. It's that fun to me. And you know how competitive I am. And
Mm-hmm.
I always want to win, but that is actually one game I can play online and not get mad if I lose because I just enjoy it that much.
Well, Rocket League is so impressive that it was an indie game, a small indie game that blew up.
And it did. It
Um,
blew up.
and believe it or not, before we had Fortnite and all that stuff come in and take over the gaming world, um, Rocket League was constantly a number one on
It
Twitch
was.
for Twitch streamers,
It was.
and I mean, yeah, of course, Minecraft's up there too, but um, Rocket League, it's just crazy to think, man, and it is so fun. Like when you actually sit down to play the game. They have got this new mode in there. I'm not sure if you've tried it yet, but I saw it the other day where the ball actually hooks onto your car.
And you can like
And
sling it.
yes,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I've seen that.
kind of like a lacrosse style, like where you catch the ball and sling the ball. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, oh
And
yeah.
it's just it looks fun. And I remember when Drop Shot come out, we had a blast with that.
We did. We had fun with Drop Shot.
So they're constantly adding content to the game, which is always great, and it is a very fun game.
And to me, they're not doing it too fast or too slow. Like, we've talked about Fortnite. Like we feel like Fortnite,
Taking
which I'm
forever.
not a fan. It's like the same map over and over again, and
Yes,
those kind of things. I don't even know if there is a new map or anything like that because I have not played it. I
I
played it when it first came out a little bit. I played
yeah.
it for maybe a max 2 hours, and that was it.
See,
And I
I could
haven't
be
picked it back
wrong.
up.
I could be wrong. I have not played it either. I've played it for maybe an hour and a half at that, maybe 2 hours. Um, but the from what I understand is no, there has not been another map added. What they've done is they've done things to, like, I think one season they had like a meteor fall out of space or something and hit the map, and it put a huge like crater or whatever in the map.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, that was a change that they did to the map, but it wasn't like a brand new map. And I don't know. Like yes, Rocket League has different skins for their cars and different wheels and different stuff like that, but it's like the different there for a while when they come up with the different arenas. um they tested them out there for a little bit. There's that one that we absolutely cannot stand with the
With
shoulders or
the blip,
whatever.
yeah, the shoulder or whatever. Yeah.
And but yeah, you're right though. They're not doing it too fast. They're not doing it too slow. They're doing it just right. And if you do it just right, like they are, your game could last so long.
Yeah.
I mean, will they ever make a Rocket League 2? Possibly.
Yeah. I doubt it though.
But look what they're doing. Look what they're doing with GTA 5. That game is how
GTA.
old?
Oh, I know, and people still love it. It's one of the most streamed still on Twitch and YouTube, or
Yes.
YouTube at least. Like it's one of the highest streamed ones, and like they just keep adding stuff, and
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you spread it out enough to where you're not nickel and diming people for money. For example, okay, you know what? I'm gonna throw The Sims under the bus. Okay, my wife loves The Sims, and the newer Sims. I want to think it's Sims 4. Um, the game, it was $59.99. Okay, like a regular game. So when it came to the Xbox One, she's not a computer gamer, so it was out on PC first, but she didn't play it there. So come out on console, she bought it. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know how long it took, but she told me the other day. She's like, "Hey, there's DLC for The Sims." She's like, "I'd like to get the one with the pets," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Let me check it out for you. Maybe we'll get it for you." So we go on there to get it and check it out. Do you know how much the pets add-on is for The
Oh,
Sims 4?
probably. But it's probably what, $40?
$40. You nailed it.
Oh my gosh,
You're
are
almost
you
paying the game
serious?
again. You're almost
Yeah,
buying the game again.
that's
And
ridiculous.
and she was like, "Yeah, forget that." I mean, dude, what would it hurt to just make it like $5? You
Yeah,
know,
maybe even
heck,
10.
even
Like,
$9.99.
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, man, $40.
$40, man. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Freaking EA. But
Of course, it's an EA game.
yeah. So, but all right. We're heading in here, man, to our number one. So I'm going to do a quick recap. So make sure
Okay.
you got your list ready before you give out your number one. You can recap your games. Um, so at number 5, I had Dino Crisis. Number 4, the Resident Evil 1 remake. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda for NES. Number 2, the original Tomb Raider. And here we go with my number 1, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. PlayStation 1, 1999. Now,
Wow.
this, I love this game. I've known, honestly, my top 3, I've known what my top 3 were. That was not the issue. It was putting them in an order, though. And when I go back to it, I have to have this one at number 1. I have to. I just actually played it not too long ago. I played it from start to finish on Twitch earlier this year. And I had just got a new game chair at the time. Dion has the same chair, just a different
Yeah,
color.
hmm
And I was super relaxed, and at no commentary, I just decided to chill out. I reclined my chair and played this game from start to finish. It took me about, I want to say, 3 hours. I think it was a snowy day out, so it was back towards the end of winter, and I just relaxed, man. I had a blanket chilling in here in my game room. And I played this game from start to finish, and I love it as much as I loved it when I was a kid. And I have a story. Like I said, I'm sorry if someone is hearing this story again. I can't remember when I've told it, how many times I've told it, but I know I've told the story. However, this is the scariest Resident Evil in my opinion. The Resident Evil 2 remake is scary, but this game introduced Nemesis. Now, Nemesis stalks you the entire game, and he could be around any corner, and he isn't easy to take down. It does no good to shoot him because he always comes back. You just gotta run. Unless you have to fight him. Unless it's a boss battle, then you have to fight him. But he just appears, dude, at random times throughout this game. And you just gotta be on your toes. Do not play this game with the volume down, because you can hear him coming. So the game starts off fast. It takes place just a few months after the events of the first Resident Evil, and you sit through this epic cutscene, and without any time to think, the game starts you off fending off zombies. It's such a great game. The weapons that you're able to have, the freaking machine gun, the sound it makes, and with the controller vibrating at the same time that the machine gun is unloading on these zombies, it's incredible. But I did play this for PlayStation 1. I do, however, prefer nowadays to play it on the GameCube. But the funny thing is, I said Dino Crisis was number 5. And my Dino Crisis introduced me to this game because on the Dino Crisis game, it came with a demo of Resident Evil 3. So I got to play the demo, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this game looks scary and fun. I gotta find this out sometime. Well, I did, and one day, me and my uncle and cousin were playing this game pretty late, or early, I guess, at like 2 in the morning. And you run from Nemesis into the police station. You lock the doors. He's banging on the doors trying to get in. He eventually gives up, or he knocks himself out, one of the two, trying to run through the doors. So he doesn't get in, and we explored that police station for, my God, probably an hour. And you hear this noise downstairs, like glass breaking. You're like, what the heck? So then eventually you walk down the steps, and right at the bottom of the steps is a glass, or is just like a window just chilling there. And all of a sudden you walk by that window, Nemesis comes crashing through it. Last second, like it terrifies you. So you have to like try to regroup and book it, because he doesn't walk, he chases you, and it is super terrifying. And And one of the main reasons I love this game is for the scare, and it's exactly what it has. It has the scare factor to it, and so Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. It is my all-time favorite video game. I still find myself this day getting, just talking about it right now. I'm like, man, I need to pop this game in and play it.
Hey, you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to play. Ready to play. And when I was younger and I tried to actually sit down to play through this whole game, I didn't do it very smart. I tried to shoot every single zombie that got in my path, and I ended up getting close to the end of the game but ran out of bullets. And that's just the thing, and if that happens and there's nowhere to find bullets, you got to start the game over, or at least go back.
Oh wow!
Because you have to preserve bullets, and I didn't do that. And sometimes it's just best to run and not shoot them because you're gonna need that ammo later. But it is such a great game, and I do hope that we see the remake of it very soon. I know they're gonna do it. It's gonna happen with the success of the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. Everyone was talking about the Dino Crisis remake, as you mentioned earlier, and I think it'll happen too. But with Dino Crisis being my 5th favorite game and this being my number 1, I gotta see Resident Evil 3 first, in my opinion. So,
see, and then once again, I've only played one Resident Evil game all the way through, and you know which one that one is. It's the worst one of all. That's the only one I've ever played. There was one day
5.
I had it for Wii, because it came with. I guess it came with the Xbox. I mean, not the Xbox. It came with the Wii when we got it, and I sat down one day and decided I'd play through it, and I did. And you tell me it's the worst one, so I need to check out some of these games that you tell me
like
about.
I said in my review of 5 that I did on my channel, that's a cheap plug, by the way. You can go check out my review of Resident Evil 5 over there. Primetime 21st Gaming, by the way. No, in my review of that game, I said, it's not that it's a bad game. It just should not have the name Resident Evil. It, to me, is like a Gears of War knockoff. And, if it had a different title to it, I think I'd be okay with it. But when you slap that name Resident Evil on it, I expect what I grew up with. I'm expecting the horror side of it, and that game did not scare me at all. Like I said, it takes place in the daytime.
Yeah, it's all daytime. Yep, it is all daytime.
I'm like, what the heck? How is that supposed to scare me? People are afraid of the dark, not of the sun, unless you're a vampire. But I'm not a vampire.
Exactly.
Anyway, so man, let's hear your recap from 5 to 2 and give us your number 1.
Okay, so 5 was Halo 2, 4 was NCAA Football 14, 3 was Pokemon Crystal, and 2 was Rocket League. Now, number 1, this might be a letdown, and maybe even to you, because it's really not just one game, but it's FIFA. I love
series.
I started playing FIFA from 2010. I was actually trying to look. There was a couple years that I did not play. I think I didn't play 11 or 12, but I've played 13 on. I've had every single one since 13 on. But FIFA, I love FIFA, and I love the career mode. I have recently got into Ultimate Team, but it's on no level like people that can play 24/7. I do not have the best players, which suck, because I do work and have a life outside of video games. But I would say I say FIFA because I spend the most time on a system, a console. The game that I play the most is FIFA. I can only imagine how many hours I have on FIFA 19. But I would say, to give you an example, 2 of my favorites, I would have to say FIFA World Cup South Africa 2010. That's actually where it really got started for me and that was just a really good game. I loved the features of it. The graphics were even really good for 2010. And it was just a really good game. I had it for Xbox 360. And then the other one, and I agree with a lot of people out there. A lot of people say that FIFA 14 is one of the best ones. And I would have to agree. It was a really, really good game. 15 was a real letdown compared to 14. But yeah, my number one's FIFA. I spend a lot of time playing it, and I just enjoy it, especially like the career mode. So, like I touched base on NCAA football 14, where we started with a 1-star. Well, one of the things I like to do is go and so each country, except for a couple of them, have different divisions. Well, usually what I do is I go to England because they have like a 5th division, and you can take a team there. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but there's promotion and relegation, and that's how they do things there. And so what I do is I will take a team from the lowest division, and I will try to build them up, play the games, but also, you recruit youth. You get to do that. You try to bring in good players, but then what you do is what I try to do is promote myself and like get promoted to the next division. And obviously you build your way up to the Premier League, which is arguably the best league to be in the world, is the Premier League. And so you try to build up your team and try to make it there. And that's one of my favorite things to do in those kind of games. I like the career mode. So yeah,
Well,
FIFA is my number one.
But all right, man, that's it, man. We went through our top 5.
Top 5.
It was fun, man. I always like having you on because we're good friends, and it's not just a podcast. We actually get time to just chill and talk about games and stuff we enjoy about video games and stuff. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate you for coming on, and
Anytime.
we'll have to do some future shows. I don't know of what, but we'll think of some topics, and we'll definitely do some more. So, all right, thank you for being on, man.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Primetime Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Primetime Podcast on Google Podcasts, Google Play Music, and Podbean. Also, you can check me out on YouTube at Primetime 21st Gaming. You can subscribe over there for gameplay reviews, and the Primetime Podcast is over there as well. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast.